If you've watched any news or just been on the internet in the past couple of years or so, you might have come across someone talking about the possibility of World War III or nuclear war. Talk about that reminded me of a story I'd heard before about a UFO deactivating nuclear warheads. I couldn't remember the specific details though, so I thought I would look it up. So I did, and turns out there are quite a few stories of UFOs deactivating nukes. Most of these happened decades ago, and the list I've compiled here probably isn't even a complete list. Who knows if there are more examples of this type of event still classified. Here are some examples I found of UFOs sighted around nuclear sites, and in many cases the nukes were also deactivated. I'll start with the oldest example I found. In the 1940s at the Hanford site in Washington State, which was a nuclear production complex, a UFO was reported at the facility more than once. In 1944, a UFO was seen so high in the sky that even when the fighter pilot investigating it pushed his plane up to 40,000 feet, he was still lower than the UFO. A similar incident occurred in 1945. The Hanford site not only has the distinction of being the oldest example I could find of a UFO sighting at a nuclear site, but also the most recent. A cigar-shaped UFO was seen in the sky above it back in 2022. In 1957, at Kirtland Air Force Base in New Mexico, a UFO was reportedly seen that looked like it was standing vertically on end with a white light on the bottom and could hover, change direction, and move rapidly. Another UFO was sighted there in 1959 on 4 different radars and was estimated to be traveling at 2,200 miles an hour and can make sharp angular turns. We didn't have aircraft that could move that fast in 1959. In 1964, at Vandenberg Air Force Base in California, a UFO allegedly shot down a test missile with plasma beams. A lieutenant supposedly filmed the incident and came forward in 1982 and said his superiors said not to say anything about it at the time. I'm not sure what happened to the alleged video footage. In 2003, another UFO was sighted at the same base. The 2003 UFO was seen by many people and said to look like a large red square. Now, I'm not saying I think this was some top-secret Russian aircraft, because I doubt it would still be secret aircraft 20 years later, but I can see why someone might think a UFO was Russian if it was just a big red square. Just saying. This next one is the one I think I was probably thinking of when I went to look up the incident of UFOs deactivating nukes that I remembered. It occurred on March 16, 1967 at Malmstrom Air Force Base. 10 nuclear ICBM missiles were deactivated, and at the same time a mysterious red glowing object was in the sky. Apparently it wasn't just a one-time incident either. Retired U.S. Air Force officer Robert Jameson says on several occasions he had to go out to restart the missiles that were deactivated after UFOs were sighted nearby. In 1964, a dummy warhead over the Pacific Ocean reportedly encountered a UFO that deactivated it after the UFO fired 4 beams of light at it. Supposedly there was video footage, but the footage went missing. What a surprise. Similar to the Malmstrom incident, a UFO was reportedly seen over Minot Air Force Base, or maybe it's Minot, I'm not sure. But a UFO was reportedly seen over Minot Air Force Base in 1966, and it deactivated 10 ICBMs. The UFO was estimated to be around 80 to 100 feet wide, came close to the ground, and made no noise, which is something I've heard in a lot of other UFO stories in general. They usually don't make any noise. This next one surprised me because it's a famous UFO sighting, though I've never associated it with being a nuclear site before. But apparently it is. And that's the Rendlesham Forest incident in the UK. Sometimes it's referred to as Britain's Roswell because of how famous it is. In December 1980, near 2 Royal Air Force bases named Bentwaters and Woodbridge, bright lights were seen and a metallic object with bright colored lights was seen near the ground and might have landed at one point. Supposedly the U.S. government stored some nukes at Woodbridge, though I'm not sure if it was ever officially confirmed as a matter of public record to be a nuke storage site. In 2010, at F.E. Warren Air Force Base in Wyoming, 50 ICBMs went offline for at least 59 minutes, though reportedly there were intermittent outages that occurred after that. A group of former Air Force personnel at the base claimed to see a cigar-shaped UFO the same day. Supposedly they were warned not to talk about what they may or may not have seen that day. So that's the list I have. There's probably other examples not on the list. I think I've heard of a similar incident occurring at a Soviet nuclear site, though I couldn't find specific details. UFOs appearing and then nukes going offline is interesting to me. What causes the nukes to shut off? Is it an EMP? There's no indication of all power being lost at the bases, though. If only the nukes were shut off, that's an oddly specific EMP, is it not? And is there a reason the nukes were deactivated? Was it the UFO's intentions just to show they could do it? Or maybe they did it because they feared the nukes might be launched on them. Whatever the reason, I think it's kind of nice to know there's something or someone out there that can deactivate nukes. Though I don't know if I want to rely on these mysterious nuke disablers with unknown motives to protect us. I think it'd be best to resolve our own disputes without nukes, and not just hope some mysterious benefactors will shut the nukes off for us. So what do you think? Who or what might have visited these nuclear sites, and in many cases deactivated the nukes? If you know of any other examples I missed, leave it in a comment. I'll post some links in the description if you want to read about more of some of these examples I listed here. Anyway, those are my thoughts on that. Thanks for listening.